Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Joy Made Millionaire, episode number 9. I am so happy to be here today. We are going to have an interesting little discussion. Approximately 14 years ago, about 14 and a half years ago, I created a book called The Post College Guide to Happiness. 14 and a half years later, I am doing a show about happiness. Do the things that I talk about now, do those show up early in some of the writings that I did 14 and a half years ago? Or are they completely different? I'm a little too close to the camera. I'm going to back up slightly here so I can recline. But it's good to see everybody. Hey to Dan. Let's go see who is over. Oh, I forgot to hit the go live button on Instagram. I was streaming, I was ready. But there's like multiple steps with all of this. So we're going to talk today about are the things that I covered in the Post College Guide to Happiness, released around October 2011. Do those things still hold up? Are those things similar to the way I think about happiness now? Good morning, Kathleen. Feel free, if you're here on the live stream, to let me know. And I am excited to kind of go through this. Happy Wednesday, Melinda. Hey, everybody. And hey to Charity and Vin and JMC. So, in about October 18th, 2011, I released a very stock photo covery book called The Post College Guide to Happiness, approximately 148 pages, released 14 and a half years ago. Oh, and hey, Rosina, and Barbara, and Deborah. Good to see all of you. So, how did I look at happiness back 14 and a half years ago? So, if I go to the introduction, I am kind of talking about how our perception of happiness changes as we go through college and go through into our so-called real lives. I apparently, even in the introduction, have an Austin Powers joke of a Swedish penis enlarger. So I was really going deep into the explanation of things here. Through 4 years of immediate gratification and finding out what I wanted to do with my life, I didn't learn the answer to the question of how to be happy. The most frequently used answer to the question was along the lines of, you'll have fun in school and then you'll have to work hard the rest of your life to get the stuff and people you want. That is an awful answer. That's like going into a doctor's office for a leg cramp and her saying, I can give you this prescription to feel better for a while, but it's going to hurt like hell until you die. And so, obviously, I was not very happy with the answers I was getting about happiness at that time. And so, I'm very interested to see what what did I think? What did I think was going to get me to the level of happiness? So, I have various chapters in this book: brainy bliss, money and happiness, true love and contentment, education and joy, gratification and peace, creativity and lifelong dreams, God and high spirits, and a fully rounded life to kind of connect everything together. I have concepts in here like, if you have the life you want and you can't seem to find happiness, there's a good chance the issue is located upstairs. I still absolutely believe this. I think that the root of happiness is definitely coming from inside the house. The call is coming from inside the house. Our brains are where so much of our discontentment happens. We've set up these expectations for ourselves. We have trauma that we continue to process to this day, no matter what age you're at. So I would say absolutely 2011, Brian. I totally agree with you there. And hey to Lucia and Deborah and others who are on here. So, and hey to my mom who is on here as well. Um, so money and happiness. Many college students and students of the world get into their line of work because they think it will lead to money, fame, and joy. They eventually realize the best things in life are free, such as a set of worthy goals that makes you feel fulfilled with the work you put in every day. So I had an interesting thought about this as I was going through. I did not know anything about Clifton Strengths. I didn't know anything about personality types. I didn't know anything about Enneagram at the age that I wrote this. And so I, at age 23 or 24, I think it was 23 when this came out, I did not know that I was a high achieving person. I did not know that goals are valuable for some people and goals are not as valuable for other people. And so even in this kind of concept of the second chapter of this book I wrote 14 and a half years ago was the beginning of me assuming everyone is the same and that everyone needed to have goals and that everyone needed to think about that fulfillment of checking things off the list as being kind of the center to happiness. And so I have learned a lot since then. I have learned a lot about how different people, and hey to Susan and hey to LD, and thank you, Imogen. I appreciate that. Said, hi, Brian. I love your podcast. Thank you. But folks, like, I definitely don't think that goals are the key to happiness for everyone. For achievers like myself, for high achiever, high competition people, absolutely. But I don't think goals are necessarily the key to happiness for every personality type. So 2011, Brian, I disagree with you on that one. True love and contentment. I was not married by the time that I put this out, but I was, I believe, at this time, definitely courting my wife to be. True love and contentment. There's nothing quite like finding someone you love and want to spend the rest of your time with. The next trick is making sure your happiness doesn't rely completely on someone else, which can be accomplished by learning to love yourself and embracing empathy. Oh, poor sweet summer child, Brian. I do agree with you on this one. You have to work on loving yourself. I still, to this very week, am working on loving myself and trusting myself and feeling like I am good enough. Absolutely. I feel this deep in my soul. And so, Brian, I don't know if you were talking completely out of your I don't know if you're talking completely out of your butt back then, but I absolutely, absolutely think that we need to continue to figure out how do we love ourselves. And hey to Joanna there over on Instagram. So Brian, right now it's I agree with you twice, I disagree with you once. Chapter 4, education and joy. Extending education past college and through various master's and doctorate programs has its advantages. Just make sure you aren't using these degrees to avoid learning about yourself and the world around you. We need this more and more today than ever before. How many of us are restricting our worldviews? How many people in the world right now are restricting their worldviews and not learning more about themselves and not learning more about the world around them and just kind of echoing what they hear? And that is not going to lead to happiness. That is not going to lead to joy, certainly. And so, Brian, I agree with you that no matter how many degrees you have, no matter how many courses you take, learning how you work. And I didn't know about strengths at this time, but learning how you personally work within yourself is going to be so much more important than any piece of paper that you have on the wall. And so I absolutely, absolutely 100% agree with 2011 Brian on that front. And hey to Albie sneaking in here. Chapter 5, gratification and peace. This is an interesting one. As technology advances and society becomes more laid back, I think what I mean is laid back compared to the caveman days, it's easy to be entertained from the beginning of the day until the lights go out. Taking time to embrace nothingness every once in a while, however, may make regular life as exciting as that newfangled toy. 2011, we had some technology. We did not have really streaming in the way that we have it. So it's easier than ever to be watching more things all the time. It is easier than ever to be entertained. I believe YouTube did exist back in 2011, but these shorter, snappier videos like on TikTok, like on you know on various other platforms did not exist. Now it's even easier. It's so much easier 14 years later to be lulled into somnolence, as I've heard. I think I heard this in a book. Um, it's so easy to be a consumer from top to bottom and to get that instant gratification from top to bottom. But kind of the counterpart to being instantly gratified with education, instantly inundated with any information we want for us learners out in the room, we could be instantly gratified from beginning to end, and that is in opposition to peace. That is in opposition to having the happiness that we want. And so, Brian, you're pretty much nailing it. I'm proud of you. Good work, 2011, Brian. Chapter 6, creativity and lifelong dreams. And let me know in the comments what you think about this. Stephanie says, walking and being chill in nature fills my creative bucket every time. Yes. Ideally with the phone left at home. Absolutely. Absolutely. Greta says, yes, I agree. I am enough. I am enough. I love this. I love this. Creativity and lifelong dreams. Many people in the artistic, creative. I did not use the Oxford comma back in 2011. I'm like, Brian, I need to go back in time just to get you to use the Oxford comma. Many people in the artistic, creative, and theatrical world have immense dreams of making it in a tough field. And I was only a few years separated from my theater degree at this point. I was doing a lot of improv comedy. I had not yet started writing a lot. I had put out a couple of books. This being probably the most substantial book, because previously it was just essays and my writing prompts book. But those who have trouble in the creative fields tend to meet setbacks with drinking, drugs, and other deadening activities. I liked my use of the word deadening. Embrace your dreams with visualization to make them more attainable and keep yourself vibrant. I find it really, really interesting that I focused on visualization here. I know that I was influenced by works that I'd read at the time, Marcy Shimoff's Happy for No Reason, the book on creative visualization. I was influenced by a lot of those things. I've never been a big visualizer. I definitely don't think of things in pictures as much. So it's interesting. I feel like I was almost taking it from these other people and kind of giving my own spin on it. Which, look, I was 23. That's kind of what you do. But I do think that right now I kind of disagree with 2011, Brian. I don't think that visualization is always the key, but I absolutely, at this point in my life here at age 43, believe in the power of manifestation, in the power of thinking things into being. So I would tweak what Brian from 2011 has to say. I wouldn't say that it has to be visualization, though, for those of you who are so inclined, I do think that you might get some kind of benefit from the visualization, but instead, like broadening it out to saying, okay, dream, absolutely think your dreams into reality, but it doesn't have to be one specific way. It could be visualization, it could be writing down what you want to happen. Um, I really like what my mentor Amanda Francis says. She writes God a to-do list before she goes to bed. I think that's brilliant. God, could you work on this while I'm sleeping? Thank you so much. Um, there's a million different ways you can do it. And I think it ties back to knowing yourself, to having that self education helps you know how to best get those results from yourself. And last chapter here, before we got to the recap chapter, was God and high spirits. A major part of happiness is to have a distinct spiritual aspect of your life. I agree with this. Using that belief to trample the beliefs of others is not likely to breed joy in your world. 2011 Brian had a knack for word choice here. Trample the beliefs of others. I am certain that I was influenced as a Jewish college student in a very non-Jewish place. I am certain that I was influenced by some of the other belief systems that came around. People may be thinking, "Bless your heart" to me and praying for me as a non uh, Christian person. Um, at that time, I may have been influenced by that. I absolutely may have been influenced by that at that time in my life. But man, oh man, Brian from 2011 did not see coming what 2026 has brought us, because there's a lot of trampling of beliefs going on, and using what you believe to stomp on other people's beliefs uh, is not a good way to be happy. I agree with you on that one, Brian. So ask the spiritual world for a peaceful and prosperous life, and it shall be given. I always wondered if I could have been a rabbi. I feel like that's a good turn of phrase for a rabbi there. I mean, I agree with that. Absolutely, I agree with this concept, because I think that we, it kind of goes back to the other chapter of trying to understand your world better. If we're stomping on beliefs left and right and in our heads sending people to a bad place, I don't think we are I don't think we're going to be very happy. I don't think we're going to be very peaceful. I don't think we're going to be very prosperous. So Brian, I think I agreed with you like 5 out of 7 chapters here. And so some really interesting things. I did want to see if anybody had any comments. Let's see. I see. Oh, hey, Shandy, Jessica, um, Los Libros. Awesome. Let me know your thoughts on anything that you agree with 2011 Brian on, disagree with 2011 Brian on. I'm going to give you some exercises here brought to you by 2011 Brian, because in each chapter, you're going to love this. Those of you who've been following me for a while, I gave homework. Of course, I gave homework. Of course, I gave homework, as I realized that my dinger is on here. So I am going to put on the do not disturb. But I have absolutely always loved giving people homework. And so let's see what some good ones are here that I could share. So these are the 35 exercises that I included in that book. In Brainy Bliss, I talked about mental aerobics. Try activities your brain isn't used to so that you can stimulate the right chemicals needed to change your mind for the better. I was very, very into the concept of neuroplasticity back then, and how if you just rely on Google Maps all the time and you just rely on AI all the time to think all your thoughts, and look, I have no problem with people incorporating AI into their lives and into their creative processes. I get it. But I'm talking about giving up the whole process. Don't give up all of the thinking to AI, because your brain needs to be able to work, okay? Um, I Spy Appreciation Edition. Look for things in the world to appreciate to boost your mood. Um, a new project to stimulate your brain and improve your feelings of accomplishment. Take on a new project in your life. This one I like. I haven't done it the last few months, but I've done it even within the last year. Rewrite your goals. Rewrite your goals by hand every morning to impress them into your subconscious. I love that. Um, get some positive friends together and talk about the direction of your life to generate new ideas and feel validated. We all need a little bit of validation. We all need a little bit of validation here. Lots of good, really interesting stuff here. Ooh, I like this. I pulled this from Marcy Shimoff's book, um, which I credited her for. But the instead of a 10, like why isn't your situation a 10? Think about all the reasons that your situation is not a 1. Like, I think of, we've got a lot of house repairs still going on from the flood. That would be not making it a 10. But how could we say it wasn't a 1? We had insurance. We got some money from the state. We've just finalized getting the money together to pay off all of the credit cards that that these charges had been put onto. We have new carpet. We have new appliances. We have new floors. There are lots of reasons it's not a 1. There are so many of these. I might actually save a few for next time. But I think that I want to give you guys the homework of, think about something that you're struggling with in your life right now. And then I want you to write down all the reasons it isn't a 1, that it isn't the worst case scenario possible. Well, maybe this project deadline has been pushed. At least I'm still working on it. At least I still have my health. At least people are still, my fans are still excited about it. All the things that make it not a 1. Feel free to share those. Uh, feel free to think those over between now and next week's episode, the double-digit episode, us getting up to episode 10. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this. Charity May said she would absolutely go to a synagogue if I were the rabbi. That is good to know. And hey, Aubrey, and hey, Ella, and other people sneaking in here. But y'all, I definitely think that, in conclusion, I don't know what that voice was, but I want to do it again. In conclusion, 2011 Brian had some really good points. 2011 Brian had not created a business yet, had not reached all of the people that I've been so fortunate to reach in the years since. He was not married. He was not a dad. He was not a bunch of things that I have had the good fortune of achieving and reaching in my life. There were also things he had not had negatively. He had not had like deep credit card debt. He had not had, really the weight of student loans. He had not had some familial health issues. He had not had some personal health issues. There's various things. But all in all, I am down with 2011 Brian's words being out in the world under my name, because I do think that he had a lot of good things to say, and maybe he was a super optimist about some things. And that light has not dimmed within me here all these years later. All these years later, I still think he knew kind of what he was talking about. And obviously, those seeds of wanting to talk about happiness and wanting to think about happiness, they did germinate. It took a little while, but they did germinate into a way for me to share this kind of thing with the whole world. And so, uh, thank you everybody for watching today. Or listening today on the podcast stream. Rosina already doing the exercise here of I struggle with the health, but my issues are not serious. I'm happy about that. Yeah, that is a great way of doing the exercise of what is not a one. So think about how your situation is not a one. And I think that it's going to benefit you. And hey, magical guys, I did not know that the Facebook stream was working again, and it is. How beautiful is that? So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. We will see. We will see how it all goes next week. But thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching these. I appreciate you very, very much. Go check out our 10 ways to add more joy to your business at joymademillionaire.com. Thank you, Dolly. Thank you, everybody who attended. I hope you have an amazing, amazing, and happy and fulfilled rest of your day. And we will talk next week for episode 10. Take care, everybody. Bye, y'all.